How long have we been doing these for, chat? These weapon refine projections. Because I think it's been nearing a year now, around a year, I'd say. And since the very start, we started with Shamil making them. There was always one other person who made these, and his name was Greid.
Yep.
Real cool guy. We don't talk much, but it's always been 100% professional and respectful. And he would wish me like if there's a holiday or something, he would usually say something about it. Like, he's just a good guy. However, it's with a heavy heart that he's retired from doing these. Yeah. That sucks. Now, I do want to be clear, making something like this, and this is why we do these, right? Even if it ends up being wrong, most people are not cognizant enough to like respect the amount of hard work that goes into something like this, right? It's just like, oh, these are just projections, whatever, it doesn't matter. But there are people behind these things that actually like go into the games themselves and piece together what could potentially be a kit. And Greid has, on record, through all of these, been close so many times. Not just being close. He has literally got it word for word for a hero like Ryoma, for example. Like, it blew my mind.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was insane. So, Greid, thank you so much for all your hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, at the very least, that's all I could say. If nothing else, you know, somebody like me absolutely respected your work here. So, but yeah, going forward, we're gonna trial other people's, not just Shamil's, though it has always started with Shamil. We'll start with other people as well. And this week we'll have GMO. All right. So while these might not actually be the actual refines, I think for those of you who've been following along with these, you know it's been a lot of fun to see a lot of the hard work that goes into this, see a lot of the rationale, and the biggest of all, being surprised when it's actually right.
Oh yeah, you'll always love when they're. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It's when they get things in general right, like anything right. That's when things are interesting, and at the very least, it gets you thinking. Gets you thinking about what things can be, and what they do end up being. Especially when they're better. I think that's when things are really impressive, when they're better than the predictions.
Yeah, there are several times when like, this refine is way too good, I don't see it happening, then it comes out, it's even better. I'm like, okay. All right, so we'll start with the outsiders first, and we'll begin with Gunnthra, and I am so happy about this. She was Menace before Menace was a thing, so...
Well, like 2 years before Menace was a thing, which is kind of stupid.
And the biggest...
copied her.
Yes, and the craziest thing was, when she first came out, I think more people were excited about her art.
Yeah.
I love her art.
Even though
So
Hikami was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Her art was great.
Now, this might seem even crazier, but people liked her C-slot a lot back in the day. Was it the first?
It was the first
joint
Tier 4A
tone,
slot, C-slot, and also joint tone, which was better than Hone 4.
Yep, what a crazy time.
Hone 4 was on Harid, that banner. Hone Attack 4.
All right, chat. But yeah, Hikami for Gunnthra, who has 41 HP, 50 attack, 40 speed, 27 defense, and 26 res. Hikami, speed +3. At start turn, inflicts attack, speed, defense, res -5, and panic on nearest foes within 4 spaces, and any foe within 2 spaces of those foes through the next actions. I like that so much. This is taking a lot off of Gunnthra, just like straight up legendary Gunnthra.
Her whole point is penalties, and perpetuating them in the strongest way possible, so I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of goes this direction. Even though there hasn't been precedence for panic, I wouldn't be surprised if, to compensate for being 5, that's the way we go.
Yeah. I do think they have to add something, and honestly, once we saw Legendary Azura's upgrade on Grey Waves for Dull, it feels like it's like a small thing to put onto it that could be impactful, but it could also do nothing. So.
Yeah. I mean, it is still full-on panic. That's gonna be
right.
I mean, Unity abusing aside, that is a huge status to just throw around freely.
Yeah.
So, well, as far as like discouraging certain builds, because you know, there's been a surprising amount of buffs recently. I'll just put it that way.
I agree. So, if unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +5 during combat. I like that. She needs the more attack and speed. Even though back when she released, she was actually one of the most highest in terms of attack and speed of a flyer we ever had at that point.
34-37 offenses were no joke in 2018 or 2019 rather.
Yeah, the start of the year. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
pretty like Legendary Ryoma, I think, has about the same offenses overall, but
Right.
that's without speed +3 weapon.
Right. All right, at start combat, unit's HP is over 25%, flex speed -5 on foe during combat, and also if unit speed is over foe speed, neutralize effects that prevent units follow-up attacks and effects that inflict special cooldown charge -X on skill on unit during combat. I like that. That's a huge compromise. It's not full null specials, it's not full null follow-up, it's half and half.
I don't know if Gunnthra is going to go that lightly into her penalties, as opposed to like full sending into a penalty condition. But I really do like this effect on it, so like this is a really cool effect, having a half and half.
Yeah. If it were me, I would bet on like more penalty utilization because that's all Gunnthra's thus far.
Yeah, like for example, what Delphia does right now with having effects based on penalties. I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of the way Gunnthra goes, especially since that's so popular recently. But I also think this is a really cool way of going about it.
Yeah.
In its own sense.
Hikami, speed +3 at start of turn of units within 4 spaces of a foe, inflicts attack speed defense res -5 on closest foes through the next actions, and grants attack speed defense res +5 to unit for 1 turn. It is just a full-on menace skill, but it's not. It's 5 instead of 6.
Proper
But
menace,
like it's
but
true menace.
yeah, it's a proper spec. It's basically sort of important at that point. Actually, I believe that is exactly sort of important.
That's. Do you realize how weird that is for her to get source?
The irony.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right. If unit shoots combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, it grants all stats +4 to unit during combat. I like that too. If unit shoots combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. Neutralize effects that prevents units follow-up attacks during combat and also reduces damage from foes' first attack during combat by 30%.
As opposed to null guard, it's damage reduction.
I like that to a certain degree because she comes with desperation, so I don't like it because it doesn't utilize desperation anymore. But then on the other hand,
I mean, you got to get there.
right, you gotta get there, and to be honest, nowadays, do you really want to use desperation? I would argue no.
Oh, obviously. I mean, they're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if they consider it in some small degree because they kind of like considering the skills that are on their kit, regardless of how good they are. But I wouldn't be surprised if like this is that way of doing it. Just a little bit of damage reduction so you can survive combat.
Okay, well, I like this because I actually have a +1 speed Gunnthra chat, so damage reduction would go a long way in making her usable because that's one of the things that has been bothering me about a lot of these heroes. It's just that the older heroes nowadays are getting progressively, well, aside from lacking offensive stats, they're just lacking everything nowadays, so they're kind of really frail, so.
Yeah, that's why the +8 stat spectrum is pretty cool, for example. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Gunnthra got a +8 all spectrum, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they take this kind of compromising route. And that's also what they did with like the Galt, for example. He gets all offenses, but despite his lack of bulk, they gave him damage reduction consistently to make up for it.
Yeah, and I thought that was insane because range damage reduction is not a thing, chat. Well, generally not a thing, especially on a free-to-play hero. Yeah, it was mind-boggling. But if they can do something like that, yeah, I'm a believer that anything's possible then.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I look at it. So it seems like they both took more of a like traditional god sword approach, which I'm not sure if I fully believe that's how she's gonna go. But I think that's absolutely a great way to look at her.
But next, we get to Sue, and this is the one that I'm not looking forward to because does anyone remember how dominant Brave Lynn was in year 1?
Too dominant.
She was dominant for such a long time. But the thing is, she's now no one even uses her.
And she will never be used again.
Most likely. The thing is, like, Sue kind of has to like live up to that because it's still a Mulagir, the bow itself.
Yeah. I mean, on the bright side, there's Legendary Lynn on the table now for Mulagir.
Oh, that's true, and that's the best one right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swift Mulagir is actually a really good bow.
Right. So Sue has 36 HP, 46 attack, 38 speed, 23 defense, and 20 res. Quick Mulagir is effective against flying foes. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. Okay, fair enough. And deals damage equals 15% of unit speed, including when dealing damage when a special triggered before combat. I like that because it was just like a Wudao bow before, right?
Yep, it was a short bow. She introduced it, so which is funny. Now that isn't even in use anymore, but yeah, so she had the short bow, which is Wudao. So, I mean, both because it's Wudao and because of Swift Mulagir, getting speed-based true damage is reasonable. Because that is Swift Mulagir, by the way.
Did anyone actually use it? Because I never saw anyone use it.
Short bow?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a single serious.
Just on Python, because basic.
Yeah, some Pythons just because it's cheap and Python is good, but that's about it.
I think I saw her get fodder more, so that's that.
Yeah, her C slot being the first guilt-free, I'd argue, tier 4 C slot was pretty useful.
Yeah.
I would have done it, but I never got a second Sue.
Yeah.
You know my rules.
I would do it still, but I'll max out her HM first. All right. At start combat, if unit HP is over 25%, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. And also, if unit initiates combat, unit speed is over foe speed, unit can attacks twice. And I'm assuming that means Brave Effect.
Brave Effect if you have 7 more speed than your foe. I talked to Shamil at length. I still think that this would be better if it were a little harder, or a little more realistic if it were a little harder for the condition. But yeah, having a Brave Effect if you overwhelm your opponent in speed is not unreasonable, I think.
I like this a lot because her biggest issue is damage dealing, and now she has conversion of speed into damage. And well, nowadays, when you think of like top tier archers, what could separate her from them? If she had a Brave Bow effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cav archers, yeah.
Yeah, which you got Garon and Wolf and Leaf, both Leafs.
Yep.
And well, besides the Leafs, who Legendary Leaf is a Brave Bow, but what do they have in common? They all Wolf and Leaf are all about not getting hit. So what if Sue didn't get hit, but also had much more on-hit damage?
Yep. So I like this. She needs it. There's her original niche nobody used. So if this was like IS was like, you know that short bow thing? Let's keep with it. No, just throw that guy out the window. Don't do that. Well, okay.
I mean, they don't even
this
do
is
that
easier.
anymore at all. Like,
yeah.
Libra has the Woo Gun, but instead of getting that, he just flat out deals true damage on hit.
No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Because that conditioning thing, it was not worth the trouble, and nobody wanted to do it.
Nope.
So better to do it this way.
Marissa, the only reason why they kept it on Marissa is because she got a slaying Wu Dao, where the whole point was specials, and then it makes sense.
Yes.
But if you're not literally designed for your special, then who cares?
Yes.
Like, you need to have that fully in mind going in.
Right. So, okay, I like this. True damage, attack speed +10, and Brave Effect, meaning you can quad. This fully utilizes her kit way better. So I'm a big fan of this, and it would make it another Mulagir bow. You're right. It would make Sue scary, which is something I would never think I would say. Okay. But for our GMO, it is effect against flying foes, of course. If unit initiates combat or it's in 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed. Wait, that's the second time you do 2 spaces of an ally. Is there a story reason for that? I don't actually know anything about Sue.
Besides being a tribesman,
I think it's because it's a standard condition for stuff like that.
Also, yeah, unit init.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, mostly that plus being a part of a tribe. They're all about because there is also unit initiating or solo, like Volca, for example. But I don't feel like Sue would follow that kind of trend.
Fair enough. All right, attack speed +5 to unit during combat, deals damage equal 15% of unit speed. I'm glad you see an agreement there because that's the most likely outcome as we saw from.
Yeah, she's not going to be a generalist, let's be honest.
Right. Including when dealing damage when a special trigger before combat. At start combat, foe's HP is over 75% or if penalty is active on foe, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. And also if units shades combat, units speed is over foe speed, grants an effect to unit based on the value of unit speed minus foe speed. Ooh. If less or equal to 9, unit can make a fall attack before foe can counterattack. Oh, if or equal to. Okay, yes.
Yeah, they just straight up said screw it. We're not even gonna pretend. No, this is just straight up. Yeah.
Okay, I like that actually. Wow.
I think it's reasonable to think that that's the direction she goes in. The more harmonious move.
And now we begin the Fates carousel.
Fates, guys.
Yeah.
One big happy family, kind of.
Happy, yes, of course. Big, absolutely. Now, to be honest, most kings would have many wives, so6.
Garon did.
I don't question it. Garon, 4-6. That's all?
He had the one with Xander, and then there was one with Elise and I forget.
Was
if
it,
Elise
I don't think Elise was a wife, was it? Because like pretty sure that was.
Yeah,
just
there's
that
definitely
one was a
concubines
maid.
involved.
Yeah, that was a concubine. There was Arate as well. So that's a concubine and 3 wives at least.
I'll be honest, I thought Garon had more. I thought
he
he
had
would
more
have
than
more.
they didn't have kids with them because I don't think. Yeah, I think he might have not had kids with their other wives, if there were any.
It was,
All
like,
right.
Katrina, Arte, and then I forgot the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for him. Garon, 46 HP, 49 attack, 22 speed, 33 defense, and 32 res. What was Garon most known for on his release? Oh, right. Yes. Breath of Blight meant he neutralizes effect against dragon bonuses.
Also,
And then
he was
Sotis
not
was.
an armor.
Oh, and also he was not an armor, despite the fact that he looked like he was armored. He's more armored than most armors.
He's more armored than most armors. It is a giant dragon, but he's an infantry that has an armored stat line.
Yeah,
Right.
if Degensia can be an armored unit, he can too.
Yeah. Anyways, at the start of turns 2 and 4, deals 10 damage to foes within 3 spaces. Isn't that like Garnith?
Garnif is 5 columns.
Oh.
But Garen's whole thing was that within 4 spaces, which I don't know why Shamil reduced it. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. Within 4 spaces, Garon deals 10 damage at the start of turn 4 to all enemies within 4 spaces, and then heals based on those enemies. That was the original Breath of Light.
Wait, it wasn't 4 space. I thought it was 3 space. It was 3, I thought.
I thought it was 4. I thought that's what made Breath of Light kind of funny. Let me double check.
I'm pretty sure it's 3.
It might be. No, yeah, no, 3.
Okay, it's 3 spaces. Okay, so they just stay the same. And no, Dex, we were all convinced he would be armored, so.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I remember thinking it was gonna. I thought he was gonna have an axe because they showed his art first, and then he was a dragon, and I'm like, wait a minute.
All right, Garon
Actually, I think
confuzzling.
it was- Yeah, he was very confusing on release.
All right, deals 10 damage to foes within 3 spaces and restores HP to unit equals 5 times number of foes within 3 spaces. AKA, they basically took the idea of Fallen Takumi, and then just extrapolated what they did there, which is make the effect more easy to use, made some slight adjustments to it, and made it happen more often. So,
All the way changes to the turn condition because it does the same amount of damage and the same amount of healing.
wait, it's exactly the same. Okay, I thought that changed. All right,
Yeah.
sure,
which
but
is
more turns is important.
surprising. Yeah, more turns. Though I will say this, in Birthright, it only starts from turn 5 and beyond, so I'm not sure if they're gonna make it earlier or not. Unless they want to just make it more comfortable as opposed to more accurate. Depends on what they want.
Hey, well, they shouldn't, because most battles don't take 5 turns.
Most battles can't take more than 5 turns.
That's also true, so that would be horrible. So I hope they speed this shit up. I know Garen's old,
Yeah.
but we all got places to go.
Fair
At
enough.
start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, inflicts attack res -5 on foe during combat. That's very good.
That's
That
what I want.
increases his defense and res, and his attack was even great.
43 attack. How'd they get away with that?
Yeah. Jeez.
At least he has some pretty beautiful bulk. Like, he's still as bulk with all the flowers included. He's about as bulky as Enna and Karthnaga.
Good. That's the minimum. All right. If foe's range equals 2, target lower defense for foe's defense or res, as a dragon should. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack res -5 on foe during combat, so double it up. Attack res -10 essentially is pretty guaranteed.
Pretty insane.
Yep. Foe cannot recover HP during or after combat, and after combat, if unit attack inflicts attack res -7 and deep wounds on target and foes within 2 spaces of target through the next actions. Is this referenced somewhere?
Technically no, but he is all about remote damage in order to get his health back. So if that deep wounds is there to keep that damage, then that doesn't surprise me.
I see.
I personally think he's going to inflict deep wounds in his base effect at the start of turns 2 and 4 thing.
Maybe. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Okay, I'm starting to see like the benefits here. He's not armored and he's infantry, so that he doesn't have a weakness because that dragon stuff is gone. And
Yep.
if he can
Quite
drop,
sure.
yeah, if you know attack res -7 and then attack res -5 and attack res -5 and the healing, you drop in the middle of an enemy formation, he'd be so annoying to deal with. He's just there, not dying and just dropping damage and then preventing them from healing. Like it could be pretty.
Oh yeah, Draconic X. Yeah, Garon's Draconic X is after combat penalties and
Okay.
fates rather. I forgot about that.
Wow.
Good point.
Dex being useful, not used to that. All right. I like this because it just stacks up on what he's good at, which is his bulk, fixes his damage by a lot, and makes him much more annoying to deal with.
Yep. And
so
because he's a dragon, he's not even destitute for skills because he has access to Dragon's Ire and Dragon Wall by default.
Yep. All right, this is really nice, and it means the 5 Garon lovers out there could actually make him even better.
He would actually be an unironically great free-to-play demo mixed tank though, because not having the Falcon weakness and having such amazing bulk across the board, he could really be a massive super tank for anybody.
I actually saw someone with a +10 Garon of Enna's breath.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah. No, and Kurthnaga. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
The Garons with Kurthnaga's breath are the ones that are actually kind of good right now.
Yeah.
But
all right.
I expect fully for Breath of Blight to become a genuinely good weapon.
All right. That starts at turns 2 to 4, deals 7 damage to foes within 4 spaces, so 1 space expansion, and restores HP to unit equals number of foes within 4 spaces times 5. Is that the same thing?
It's an extra turn for less damage and more proximity.
Right.
Or have more spaces.
More spaces. At start combat, unit's HP is over 25%, inflicts attack res -5 on foe during combat. Same as before. And then foe initiates combat or foes HPs. Well, the second part about dragons targeting lower defensive res. You guys know how it goes. If foe initiates combat or foes HPs under 100% at start combat, grants everything but speed +5 to unit during combat, inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat. And also, if unit is not adjacent to an ally, foe cannot make a follow-up attack.
That last part is definitely not happening.
This would make him so good. I'm also not sure whether you want to get hit extra or not, because if you get hit extra times, he should be using Dragon's Ire or at least QR, so getting hit extra times probably better for him.
I doubt that they would give Wary to a demote, and especially have a dual condition for a demote like that. I just don't think that would happen.
He's related to Xander and Leo, though, so maybe.
Huh?
He's related to Xander and Leo, though, so perhaps.
Oh, I see what you're trying to
do. Yeah, I guess they could go that route, but realistically, I don't think he's going to get both of those things. Like, I think that if you just cut it off at the guard or replace the guard with the Wary and cut the guard out, both of those are more reasonable than having both.
The fact of the matter is, if he gets guard, it makes it 100% better than Kurthnaga's breath, and I like that for that reason, so.
Yeah, it would make him undeniably one of the best mixed tanks in the game if he had guard on weapon.
Yeah.
Because he can run distant counter at that point and not have to lose guard.
Yep.
So will that happen? Not like
we'll see. Riven, thank you for subscribing. All right, we'll move on. The reason why I'm going quickly on Garen's because I highly doubt any of you guys are going to use him. So
I don't know.
I am. He's literally the only one I want.
What the heck? You're such a weirdo.
Yeah, I've
been saving grails for him for so long.
I mean,
hey, weirdo.
I've been wanting to build Garon since he came out. I just never had a real reason to because of Breath of Light being a pure gimmick weapon.